Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door now has an official release date, and it is May 23rd. It's coming a lot sooner than we ever thought. It's just in a couple of months, and it's on a Thursday, which is pretty weird. I think some of the other upcoming games, like Endless Oceans and Luigi's Mansion 2, are also on a Thursday, which I don't know if it's like Nintendo's new thing or it's just for these specific games this year. I don't know. It's weird. But they also have opened up a Japanese website now where you can view more images of the game, and there's a lot to look at, and it just looks so good. I want to thank Gamexplain for putting some pictures together because I was trying to find some of my own and I just could not match up the scenes as good as they do. Obviously, they're just, wizard crafters at this thing. But yes, this video I'm about to show you is from Gamexplain. You can watch the full thing on their channel. But I just wanted to kind of go through and just look at just how good the graphics are. Like, it's just been completely reworked. But once again, all these clips are also on the Japanese website. You can check them out. But this first one is in Hooktail Castle. You can see paper plane Mario flying through. You can see all the details in the water down below. They look a lot more detailed with like little patterns and ripples compared to the original version, and the clouds are a lot different as well. They're not like swirly and designed as good as the original. That might be the only like negative takeaway. I do like the clouds from the original game, but this is where we really start to see how good this game looks. These are the caves of Key Hall Key, and look how good the lighting is, man. It just feels more ambient, more dark. You can just tell the way the light is shining through the giant cave sections in the background. It looks so good. Something else I noticed also with a lot of these scenes is the camera seems to zoom out a lot more in the newer version. But this is Riverside Station. Just look how good like the posters on the wall look. It's not all blurred out and weird looking like in the original. And I guess that's like a way for them to tell you that you're supposed to blow that section off with Madame Flurry. Sorry, slight spoiler alert. But once again, the lighting. You can actually see the light emitting from the lights hanging from the ceiling. It's not just like an all lit up room. Here in Hooktail Castle, you can see the switches now are actually like made out of paper and folded into a cube instead of just being a regular switch thrown into Paper Mario, just more of that paper feel. And once again, the lighting of the castle, it just has this dark, gloomier look because of how, lack of light there is in that area. Now here's the great tree from Bogley Woods, and I can't tell if they're sticking with the black and gray and white color scheme, kind of like the monochrome look. It almost looks like it has a bluish tint this time around, or it might just be the shadows. You can see the light kind of peeking through the top of the leaves and shining through to the bottom of the tree, so it just might be the way the lighting is this time around. It's just that good. Now, this scene is the rooftops of Rogueport. You can just tell that, this is just a complete remake because look at how the tiles are different on the roof. They just kind of done things differently, and the lighting is obviously better since you're on the top of the roofs outside. It's just more sunlight. Here's some gameplay of the battle system. You can see the props kind of just fold in and like unravel this time like paper instead of just pop up like in the original. I absolutely love it, and it looks so detailed in the background. You can see little individual trees on the mountains and the hills and stuff. It looks so good. You can even see the reflections off the floor. The pieces of wood look really good as well. But the UI is also different when it comes to choosing your attack. As you can see, it gives a little list with its flower power beside it and everything. It just looks a lot cleaner. I really like that change. And then with the giant blooper mini boss, you can see in the background the waves are actually moving this time around, which is pretty cool. I'm just imagining a Toad back there with a wooden stick just attached to the planks of the waves that they're using for the props and just moving them up and down. But I really like that change. It's just making the battle arena more alive, and I hope to see more things like this in different battle arenas. But also the ink that he shoots is just very realistic looking this time around, almost like a sticker star color splash sort of thing where you have those realistic items. Next, we're back at Riverside Station, and we are fighting some poison pokies, and yeah, it just looks a lot cleaner this time around. And once again, the background has a lot of details. Look at the depth. Look at how many mountains continue to go back into the background, and the sun has like little waves that are moving and stuff. Once again, just being so realistic. Even when the Yoshis run across the screen, you can see the props in the background pop up in the air. Like, they really put so much details into this game. Now we have some pictures to discuss. This is Rogueport, and we can see Toadsworth making a return, like the first time in a very, very long time. I don't know exactly how long it's been, but it's been a while. If you look down the alley in the back, you can also see the spray paint markings on the wall, and they changed some of them, like the red and green ends are now just two lines to, I guess, make a face or something. Maybe it's just like Nintendo didn't want like gang markings or something, as if it was like a gang mark, like somebody with an N or something. But yeah, I thought that was funny. Then we have Professor Frankly's room. Once again, the lighting is just so good. You can see the light just focused on them, and it's like the dark background, and all of his books are just so individually detailed. It's just so good. And you can see Professor Frankly's table is a little bit different. The map isn't just flat laid out and easy to read. It's kind of like three-dimensional folded up. You can't really make out what's on the map, and then the book on the table. Then we have Mario holding up his map for the first time at the 1,000-year door, and you can see the whole symbol around it is different, and the 1,000-year door itself is just really well designed. The gold plating just stands out as it shines, and it's like so reflective, and the door just looks even more mysterious and creepy this time around. For Rogueport sewers, it's night and day. Look at the lighting. It's so good. You can see the sun shining through from the top of the cracks from the top of the sewer. All the trash and individual plating on the ground looks so detailed. In the background, it just looks so good with the depth that it adds to it, and the lighting with that as well. It's just so good. There's also new colored doorways in the background, and some of the houses are actually lit up, like the blue in the doorway on the right and the pinkish red one on the far left. And then back to Key Hall Key deep in the jungle. Do I even have to explain this one? Look how good this looks. The details are immaculate. The lighting just shining in the little pond is so good, and it actually gives this full depth now, because I could never really tell how far that actually stretched back. It just looked like a little pond, but with the remake you can tell like it's like a little cove area that goes back into the background. And I like how the roots of the trees kind of like peel off, and they're like strings of ripped and folded paper. It looks so good. I mean, I don't know how many times I want to say this. I'm gonna keep saying this. This game looks amazing. Then back to Riverside Station. Once again, that sunset looks so good. For some reason, the sun is now in front of the mountains, which does look a little weird. I don't know why that is, but it's a lot more detailed this time around, and the sun's light is actually coming off of Mario and Goombella so well, and the shadows and everything. Oh! Then we have the Excess Express train. Once again, just lots of details with the grass and the trees off in the background, but the train itself, oh goodness, it looks so good. It's actually looks like it's made out of paper this time around, and cardboard and construction paper and stuff, where before it just looked like a big metal train in a Paper Mario game. So as much as I love the original, man, it definitely needed this paper update. It just feels so papery now. Even the save block got a little bit of an upgrade there with like the metal framing around it. It's just lots of little details like that has been added. We have the Glitz Pit Arena in Glitzville, and yes, once again, lighting huge. You can see all the lights at the top shining a really cool ambient light up in the middle, and everything else around it is like real dark, and it gets darker the further you look in the crowd. The screen looks even better. Yeah, it just, once again, it's an ambient feeling. The lighting is just so good. I like how the characters and all the models pretty much stayed exactly the same, just cleaned up a little bit. Twilight Town looks even more scary with the moon in the background just being so clear, and it has like a little rippled design in the moon now. The crows give off more of a papery look compared to what they did before, where it just looked like shadowed crows. And also, not to mention, the shop even has a theme this time around. As you can see, the fire flower is a lot darker and scarier looking, just all somber. You have the game show against the Thwomp, where once again the Thwomp is more paper mache built this time instead of just a regular Thwomp it looked like before, just like a rock. It's more papery, which is just always a good thing, and even like the whole box that Mario and Goombella stand in, and you can actually see Goombella's face this time. You then have Poggley's Place, which is the bar and inn of Rogueport, and once again, really great lighting that's all coming from the lights behind the bar, and everything else is like nice and dark and like low light like a bar probably would be, which is really, really cool. You can see Flavio there with his red crystal skull gem. Once again, just being exactly like it was in the old game, but just cleaned up a lot more. And then finally, we have the Great Tree, the inside of the Great Tree from Boggly Woods, where you have all the punies that you have to guide, and also Madame Flurry. In the background, you can see more papery look to the water substance on the back wall. The floral patterns on the floor are glowing now, and also those white bush shrubs stand out a lot more. There's shadows to them, and they look a lot more detailed and like popped up this time around. But yeah, just really, really good. And then we can see the key art, which is pretty much a direct reference from the Japanese version of the 1,000-Year Door. It's pretty much the same thing, just cleaned up and looks a lot neater. That's so good, because the Japanese version was so much better. I'm sorry, it was. And then with all of that, that gives us our finished box art, which is based off of that Japanese version of the original game, and it looks so clean. This is one of my favorite box arts, I think, on the Nintendo Switch. I'm not just saying that because it's one of my favorite games of all time. Just look at this thing. It is a beauty. Those are all the images and videos that we've gotten so far. Unfortunately, there was no trailer, which is kind of weird, how they didn't give us a trailer for this or anything. Maybe that's coming later on, but yes, this is coming in just a couple of months. I cannot wait to play one of my favorite games of all time again with these brand new amazing graphics. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys are excited for this game, leave a like and subscribe, because you know we're going to be covering everything Paper Mario the 1,000-Year Door, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.